Hill with it. Now defended by Muhammad.
The shot's there for him, and he's got to take it. I don't care if he doesn't convert. That's a shot he has to continue to take.
And good on the basket. Book it.
And really, it looks like he may just try to take this thing over on his own and really build that lead up.
They set the screen. Stuckey against Jones. There's the dish to Hill. Clock at 6. It's Hill on the wing. Puts it up. Again, missing Hill.
That's a shot he's got to hit. You don't get many looks better from that range.
Here's Dang, and he bangs it home with one hand.
Sound offensively. Really no other way to put it here in the second half.
There's really no comparison between the teams in terms of the way they both shot the ball since the break.
Whittington, the pass to Stuckey. And good, as it just snugs right down through the net.
Looked like he was channeling Bob Cousy right there. Since when does he take guys off the dribble like that?
Jones kicks to Bielitz. That's good.
And an open path to the hoop there. Easy bucket. We've seen that far too many times today.
Outside Hill. 27 seconds left in the third. Stuckey drives inside. Rebounded by the Timberwolves. Bielitz has got rebound number 7 for him tonight. And Muhammad throws it down.
He always knows where his teammate's going to be, and Kevin, that will let him put the ball where he wants it, right waiting for him.
Stuckey against Jones. Here's Whittington. Off target at the rim. Muhammad can't hit. The 3 quarters of play all in the books. And we're rolling here again with the 4th quarter. Might not come down to the wire, but you never know. And so it's Minnesota with it. And a look at the 5 for the Pacers to start the 4th quarter. C.J. Miles is out there with Young. Then it's Robinson. Then there's Buddy. And it's Whittington in at the 5, roaming the paint.
And defensively, they are on their heels every time the ball comes inside.
Yeah, I think they've got to ramp up the aggressiveness, Greg. I mean, if they don't, things are just going to get worse from here.
Here's the screen. And Young, here we go. And the rejection by Chang. And the ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by Chang.
Welcome fans to the FIBA qualifying round.
Young for 3. Here's Robinson, and he gets it to go.
He was the first one to react to that miss. Excellent anticipation on his part. A hustle play on the putback by him. Well, I tell you guys, when you look at this Wolves team, I mean, the outlook is really bright. A lot of young talent that's fitting together nicely. Good skill set. I think this group could be one to watch and really good going forward.
So for the Timberwolves last year, Greg kind of traded into the top overall pick, getting the Wiggins deal, which means 2 consecutive years of having number 1. They're beginning to put together the ingredients.
I think they have a core to ultimately be formidable when you talk about that Western Conference. And to pick up Zach LaVine in that same draft, that was a nice selection as well. And don't discount what Flip Saunders brings to the table in terms of coaching and teaching these young players.
Terrific design on the pick play, and he lays it in. Robinson's got 5 points now in the quarter.
Yeah, heads-up aggressive play right there. Saw the smaller man on him and took it straight to the basket.
Passes it to Levine, beyond the arc. And that one's in. He's only missed 3 of 13.
Just too dangerous of a shooter to leave alone from beyond the arc.
Jones against Young. Outside Robinson. And they come right back with their own three-pointer.
Only took them a few seconds to answer the three ball with one of their own.
Greg, we've got a three-point battle taking shape here.
Out left to the wing. Launches a three. Levine can't hit. Indiana's gone 1 of 2 from three-point range here in the fourth. They set the pick. Young dishes to Whittington, and it's Budinger in the corner. Robinson passes to Budinger. Shot clock at 5. Young from outside. Muhammad grabs the board. The Timberwolves have gone 3 of 4 in field goal attempts since getting things started here in the fourth. Jones with it. And Young picks him up defensively. And yes, sir, that one drops.
And he's finally getting the feel from beyond. His second three of the half right there.
Pass to Whittington. Dishes to Budinger. Young with no one around. Gets it to go from beyond the arc.
You know, they've got to be careful not to give a shooter of his caliber open looks like that. 1 or 2 of those are all it takes to really get him going.
Here's Muhammad, and he drops in the layup off the glass. Muhammad's got 10 points in just the second half.
And that's exactly how they've gotten the lead right here. Easily, he's been their most consistent performer.
As simple as it gets. He's hitting everything he's looked at. Keep feeding the fire.
And Young, here we go. Pops loose off the pick and hammers it home.
And, you know, that's an example of how many plays we have in a game for which there's no stat. A monster dunk coming off just a terrific pick play.
Greg, you're right. It really did work to perfection. Gave him all the room he needed for the flush.
Boy, that's a sound physical play. I mean, can't be afraid to put a shoulder into somebody every once in a while. It's a contact sport, folks.
Pacers have gone 5 of 8 shooting as we've come down the home stretch in this final quarter. Pass to Robinson. Plenty of space. Rebounded by the Timberwolves. Pekovic has got his 5th rebound in this one. Here's Muhammad. Powered down after the assist. Let him into the lane.
How about the excitement right now that he's playing the game with? I love it.
He capped that dunk off with some serious hang time on the rim.
I tell you what, he just couldn't contain himself on that one.
Young outside. To the paint. Got a piece of it. And stolen by Pekovic. And now Minnesota on the fast break. Jones is running. Young against Jones. Young outside. There's the pick. There's a screen by Robinson. Shots good from Young. Young's got 7 now in this quarter.
And those are 2 teammates right there working in rhythm. One setting the screen and the other using it to get that separation.
Jones kicks to Zhang. The stupendous finish and track.
And they're beginning to just flat out fall apart defensively right now, especially on the interior.
Yeah, and that's 4 straight field goals now, Greg, they've allowed from point-blank range. Can't happen.
And Young kicks to Miles. To the middle. And foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot 2.
You know, it's really quite amazing when you look at Chase Budinger. I mean, statistically, he was the same player last year as when he was a rookie across every category, even smaller categories like steals and blocks, almost identical output 5 seasons apart.
And going back to Chase Budinger, a terrific athlete with a plus shooting streak. He definitely has some talent, but Greg, his inability to play consistent defense and his subpar ball handling have capped his career minutes at around 20 a game.
Yeah, and that's why he was a second-round pick way back when. I mean, scouts knew he was a somewhat talented player, but just not a complete one.
Here's what Minnesota's going with right now. Adrian Payne comes in for Nikola Pekovic, and Andre Miller has subbed in for Jones. Well, the Pacers, despite all their injuries from last season, were right in the playoff hunt until the very end. Had a chance, in fact, GA, on the last day to sneak in, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, they needed a Brooklyn loss to go along with them winning that last game. Ultimately, though, it wasn't in the cards for them. They ended a game out of the postseason.
He's really picked up where he left off in the first.
There's a screen by Robinson. And Young, here we go, from 12 feet out. And Robinson gets it to go on the assist by Young. 10 points for Robinson.
This quarter has brought out the best in them, fellas. Even though they're still trailing, he's been impossible to contain. And, you know, the Pacers have made the playoffs in each of the last 4 seasons prior to last year's miss. Hard for a team that was coming off back-to-back conference finals appearances to stomach that. But with the injuries, they'll be better and back in the playoffs next year, I'm sure.
Robinson, a screen on Miller. Miller against Young. Shoots the 3. Minnesota with the rebound. Levine dishes to Miller. Kicks it to Payne. That's good, and it's Miller with the assist.
And really, it's going to be more of a reload than a rebuild situation for the Pacers. You would have to imagine their goal isn't just to get back to the playoffs, but to get back to being a conference final participant.
And for C.J. Miles, he sure can string together a long line of threes under the league with a nice jump shot that has now become deadly.
Yeah, he doesn't get to the free throw line much, and he's not really much of a playmaker, but he's 3D in color. HD
now, gentlemen.
3D.
Roof shots. Roof shots.
Free throw good, Miles.
And talking about C.J. Miles, he was filthy last year. Indiana needed his spark offensively, especially without Paul George in the lineup. Miles responded by putting up career highs in points and minutes played. Just an unbelievable impact on the season.
And so he's able to get 1 of 2.
And for most every team out there, guys, they're looking for a guy like C.J. Miles. Decent size, natural movement skills, and can absolutely shoot the lights out. Call them buckets, because that's a lethal formula.
Drops in the tray.
I'm not sure that was the play they had set up, but it was too good a look to pass up.
Minnesota's gone 3 of 4 from downtown here in the 4th. Miller, the pass to Bielitsa. And again, it's Minnesota converted.
He is having problems stopping the mid-range jumper. They're not really closing out on him as much as they should be.
6 of their last 10 points have come by way of the 2-pointer. Last season, really a tale of 2 halves for the Wolves. When Ricky Rubio returned from injury, they just looked so much more in sync as a team.
No good on the free throw. Well, the Wolves improved just very slightly last year in terms of wins, Clark. The quality of play on the floor, though, was visible.
Yeah, and you know, the team's point differential was a lot better with Rubio in the lineup. They did have some big wins over quality teams, and Rubio's impact was certainly noticeable.
Well, the Timberwolves knew that last season would be one not to worry about winning. With Coach Flip Saunders, it was more about growing as a team, and you know him. That's one of his specialties.
Yeah, Flip, Kevin's a great teacher, and so to have this young group and show the improvement they did over the course of the season was important. And really, it's mostly just about getting guys used to a system and preparing for what could be a really bright future.
And, you know, as you said, with Minnesota, I think last season was just about letting the young guys grow and develop, giving them minutes. They had a really young team. The average age last season, under 25 years old.
And he's good on the second.
And down the stretch, they let the young guys play through their mistakes. And I thought for the Wolves that was important. Wiggins led the league in minutes played after the All-Star break. A lot of those young Wolves logged heavy minutes and got great experience.
Boy, they're getting into a real groove from inside the three-point line, knocking down those mid-range jump shots.
8 of their last 10 have come from the mid-range.
Young against Miller. 6 on the shot clock. collected by Levine.
Boy, they were ready for him right there. I mean, totally collapsed the defense on him.
Feeds it to Muhammad. The pass to Bielitsa from about 19 feet. And again, it's Minnesota.
Wow, 10 straight points from mid-range.
You know what I've always said, partner? Good shooting covers over a multitude of ills. And we're seeing it right now. He's always going to have a difficult time finishing when the defense is in his face like that.
And Muhammad kicks to Miller. And he takes it in for the layup off a very nice feed.
Yeah, excellent assist there. Just led him to the perfect spot.
They set the pick. And Young, here we go. Whittington tries again. Can't get it to go. And it's the Timberwolves taking it the other way. Levine dishes to Miller. And he gets it to go. Miller's got 4 this quarter.
Give credit where credit is due right there. A terrific assist.
Guys, they're looking for a way to score here.
Yeah, they've had a tough time getting the lid off the basket so far.
And here's Miles outside, and the basket good.
Wow, something's brewing, guys. The three-pointers just continue to flow.
Yeah, they've had a great second half from long range, Greg. I mean, things are definitely starting to look up for them.
Young outside. The feed to Buddington. And Indiana, another 3.
Perfect screen there. Set him up with a terrific look.
Yeah, I like the fact that the setup was good, the screen was solid, but you also have to look at the fact the defender didn't do his job as well as he could have.
And he's caught fire this quarter, yet to miss a shot.
The Pacers shooting 53% from the field in the fourth quarter. Can't ask for more than that from your offense. Screen by Young. The dish now to Miles. It's Young on the wing. There's the screen. And Miles kicks to Whittington. Budinger, the pass to Miles. Here's Christmas. Rebound collected by Levine. Levine's got 3 rebounds now in this one.
And so it's going to end up in the record books as a blowout, a dominating performance for the Timberwolves.
And this was one that never really was in doubt, I thought, Stephen Clark. An all-around dominant performance. Clark, and you kind of thought that maybe even going into the game.
I certainly did, and they just cracked it open and made it an NC. No contest.
Yeah, I like that. And so taking a look at their record, a nice milestone they'll be picking up tonight. 30 wins on the year now.
And playing this team only twice on the year, they have to feel good about their strategy and execution, as tonight they complete a season series sweep against the Pacers.
A fantastic show. And what an amazing all-around game it was for Wiggins. He was everywhere defensively, offensively. The effort we saw from him tonight, I think, was the difference.
Young against Miller. Young outside. He kicks it to Miles. Off target with his 3. To the inside. And the jam by Levine.
I don't want to say they're trying to run up the score here, but they keep adding to the lead.
Well, I know you don't want to say it, but I will, partner. I mean, they're trying to run the score up here. It's plain and simple. They're trying to throw salt all in that wound.
And Young, here we go. He dishes it to Christmas. And Young kicks to Budinger. He feeds it to Miles. Young outside. Great look, but off the mark. And so it's the Timberwolves taking care of business here. It was a tale of 2 teams tonight, one that was in total control, operating flawlessly, and Clark the other just searching for answers that they could never find.
Well, I think these fans, too, Kevin, gave their team a tremendous lift. I mean, they never gave up on them. From the opening tip until the end of the game, they were in it. And that certainly helped this crew get to the W.
Thank you for joining us. That'll do it for now. For Clark Kellogg, Greg Anthony, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan along with our entire 2K Sports crew, thanking you for tuning in. Now time to send you over to the award-winning Ernie Johnson for the postgame show with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith.
The 2K Sports postgame show. Ernie Johnson here again with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny Smith. Without further ado, let's present to you our Jordan Player of the Game, Andrew Wiggins.
His accuracy from the field was pretty eye-catching. I mean, if he was shooting the ball, it was going in. You rarely see a performance like this with this crazy high shooting percentage. Wow.
Anytime you deliver that sort of production we saw from him tonight, you're going to put your team in position to win. He gave them points in bunches, and when they needed them. It's not always about how much you get, but when you get those points up on the board.
And that brings us to the end of our broadcast for this evening. For Kenny Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, Kevin Harlan, and our illustrious 2K Sports crew, this is Ernie Johnson saying good night, and we'll see you again soon, but not soon enough.